This video is in response to Dave, also known as NeuroDoc170. He sent me a message that had 10 questions in it, and the questions are about my disability condition. So I thought that I would post this for him as a follow-up to the video I posted last year about my life with a disability. So here are NeuroDoc 170's questions. Yes, I was born premature. As I stated in my first video, I was born 3 months ahead of schedule. They thought I'd be born in September, and I wound up being born in June. Nobody knows why, not even my mother. But as a result of being born prematurely, that is why I have cerebral palsy, or CP. I can't say for certain that I was diagnosed at a specific age. The closest answer I have to that would probably be the time that I actually learned that I have cerebral palsy, which was around the age of 6. Around the time that I was first made aware by my parents that I have cerebral palsy. Of course, at that age, I didn't really understand much of anything, and when I went to school, seeing other kids using braces and wheelchairs and walkers meant nothing to me. You could say that we lived in a state of blissful ignorance back then, my classmates and I. As I've said, the primary area of my body most affected by my CP are my legs and my feet. So, in a general sense, I have more problems with my lower body than my upper body. My upper body pretty much has the strength of any normal man my age, although there is something to be said about the dexterity of my fingers. It's not a tightness, as in my legs and my feet, but my manual dexterity is not what it could be. My fingers are not entirely comfortable doing certain household tasks that require a great deal of finger manipulation, but for whatever reason, my wrists are always comfortable in this position, and I, of course, can play my electric keyboard and use a computer effortlessly with perfect accuracy. But I've always considered my lower body to be weaker than my upper body for understandable reasons. Oh. I was wondering when somebody was going to ask me this question. My experiences with occupational therapy when I was young were very much like ordinary work and playtime experiences for preschool to elementary school-age kids. It was called occupational therapy, but us kids didn't think of it that way at all. It was just a way of doing fun things together. Cutting with paper, using clay, making homemade ice cream, that sort of thing. However, my earliest experiences with physical therapy, if you want my honest opinion, can be summed up in one word: torture. The only reason I use the word torture is because of the fact that my hamstrings especially are in a permanent state of tightness, as I explained in the first video. Stretching them out to try and make them straight could be very, very painful during those years. My most recent memories of physical therapy during those years involve my parents placing me bodily, physically, on top of our kitchen table and stretching me out until I cried. That's how painful it was. That's pretty much all I want to say about that, but I have learned in the years since that PT has come a long way in 30 years. See, for example, the leg braces I showed in the last video, which have served me quite well, and they actually help me walk a little bit straighter than I used to. So, well, here is the thing about me and physical activity and my symptoms of CP. There is no real way to alleviate those symptoms if you're using the word alleviate in the sense of relief. I think I say in the last video that I'll never ever be able to completely straighten out these legs. Of course, I can perform stretching exercises that will allow me to make my legs straighter, but I'm never really going to be able to bend and straighten my legs the way other people bend and straighten their legs. It seems to be getting harder for me to stick to exercise routines as I've gotten older, because even though my physical condition makes the need for exercise a little more critical than most other guys my age, I tend to think of exercise now as an arduous, sweat-soaked activity which not only takes time out of life, but also requires a great deal of misplaced energy. It's kind of a motivation issue. On the other hand, simply moving around by walking or using a push cart to bring my laundry to and from the laundry room for my apartment building, or using that same cart to take out a large bag of garbage. Anything that requires the exertion and use of my legs in that sense. And because of the fact that my endurance level only goes so far, for me, that's a workout right there. Housework is definitely a workout. I assume by the word spasms you refer to uncontrolled muscle movements. As far as my legs are concerned, my hamstrings don't really spasm as tight as they are, but I'm pretty sure that I showed in the last video that I can only stand up straight for certain periods of time before I really need to sit down. And the way that I know I need to sit down is when my hamstrings get the feeling as though they're about to give out, and my knees and my quadriceps then try to take over from where my hamstrings left off, and I get that tired feeling all the way down the front of my leg, and I have to sit down because of that. I do know that my feet are super sensitive, and I have to go to a podiatrist most of the time to get my toenails clipped and get them clipped right. And when he uses the nail clippers on my toes, then yes, it does trigger a series of spasmodic movements in my feet that I have no real control over. But I guess that's the spastic part of spastic diplegia for me. Walking history. Well, I guess I can start by saying that when I was, nursery school age, I had to wear braces, and unlike the lower leg braces that I showed in my previous video, these braces pretty much encased my entire lower body, both of my legs and both of my feet. And I don't remember why I had to wear them or for how long. But I do remember clearly that I got my first walker when I was 4 years old, and I used walkers from kindergarten all the way up to 7th grade. Yes, 7th grade, when the decision was made that I would use a walker to walk for half of the school day and spend the other half of the school day on crutches. By 8th grade, I was using crutches all the time. The biggest benefits that I found to using crutches is that they're not as bulky as a walker and they don't take up as much space within the confines of your body or around you. And it was only in the last few years or so, doing physical therapy locally with a clinic that I work with here, that I received my current pair of lower leg braces. Well, I wouldn't exactly say that my CP condition itself has changed over the years. This is the result of a birth defect, and I have accepted within myself that I will have to deal with it in some way, shape, or form for the rest of my life. But what I have noticed is that with the passage of time and with practice, and as I get older, my condition becomes more manageable. I've gotten stronger over the years, and I certainly don't trip and fall over my own 2 feet as much as I used to. And that's part of why I use crutches and walkers, because this condition gives me a balance problem, I guess you could say. But I guess the bottom line is that even though I can improve my CP, I can't change it. It's going to be with me all my life. It's going to be part of who I am. So I might as well learn to be happy with who I am. Thanks for watching.